If you are squeamish at all, or if you don't like talking about poop or pee, you should probably not watch this video. So, because we're gonna be talking about poop and pee. Pelvic floor therapy it's your pelvic floor, so it's connected to your anus, it's connected to your bottom, and those things are important to be able to talk about, especially as an adult and especially as a mom, because we change lots of diapers a day. So poop, pee, it's just regular conversation for us. And poop and pee should be regular conversation, because those are ways to monitor your inner world, your inner physical world, and how your body is actually doing on the inside. I'm not a pelvic floor therapist. This is just knowledge I'm passing on from my pelvic floor therapist that I as well take with a grain of salt, but also trust because she has studied this stuff. And this is bucket list things too. Like, that's goals. I want to become a pelvic floor therapist to help my people, but I also know that I'm my own pelvic floor therapist, and you should be your own pelvic floor therapist too. But of course, with the right tools, right knowledge, right guidance.
Don't tell me what I'm gonna do. Baby, I'm about to show you what you've been missing in your life. When I get inside, blame it on the booze, got you feeling loose. Blame it on the alcohol.
As y'all can see, it's a gloomy day outside today. It's spitting a little bit this AM. We are at session number, I want to say 4. Session number 4 of pelvic floor therapy. So far, I know I told you guys I would let you know how it's going and share some things that we have been working on. So far, a few things so let's rewind. One of the main reasons why I wanted to see a pelvic floor therapist was for overall health and wellness. I really do believe that it should be one of those things where it's like a part of your well woman exams is to check in with the pelvic floor therapist, just to make sure that you're practicing certain rituals at home and that you're getting into the habit of strengthening and caring for your pelvic floor muscles the most mundane and the utmost way that we can. It's the little things and it's the not so little ways that help us every day to make sure that our overall pelvic floor and just health and wellness in general as women is intact. So one of the things that we talked about for my goal was to find things that I could add on to what I'm already doing at home, and just confirm with someone who specializes in pelvic floor therapy the different practices that I could be doing, making sure those practices are actually beneficial and not doing more damage. So for instance, I have diastasis recti. Some people pronounce that differently, and it basically is widening of the abdominal muscle. And believe it or not, a lot of people have some sort of level of diastasis recti. And when I first started looking it up, and when I first started, which was like 6 years ago, when I first became aware that this was even a thing, I heard about diastasis recti during my birth working training when I became a part of the birth world, but I didn't really have the understanding that I have now of it. And one of the things that popped up when I started diving deeper into it was a lot of people were saying it's a separation of the abdominal muscle. My pelvic floor therapist actually said she prefers to think of it as the widening, because separating means that your stomach is like coming apart. Makes more sense because it's the deeper layers that we're talking about entirely. It's just those muscles that are weak that need some help to find their way closer together again. And things like childbirth, I'm sure posture and doing certain workouts, there's a lot of things that can widen those muscles. So doing things like pelvic floor therapy really gives you the tools and extra exercises to be able to get the innermost layers of your abdomen to move closer together and to hold hands now on a deeper level. So far we have been doing many exercises, and a lot of those exercises I was actually doing at home on my own. Excuse me. But again, when you are under the care and the supervision of someone who specializes in something, it just reaffirms and confirms things, and it just kind of gives you that sense of knowing that you're actually giving your body what it needs to progress and not to retract in its healing. So we want to promote growth out here. I want to move in the direction of growth. I want to move into the direction of healing. I want to move into the direction of having the outcome that my body needs in order to be its best, be its strongest. And one of those things is really strengthening my core. So this year has really been like getting to the root of a lot of things. And these past 2 years, life in general, if I'm being honest, but these last 2 years, I have noticed that I have the capacity. Remember we talked about capacity in one of my old videos? I've noticed that I have the capacity to be able to really dive deeper into my healing, not just emotionally and internally, but also physically, on a physical level. Next year, I know that I'll be doing, hopefully, we'll see where my body's at, but I foresee myself continuing to do more strengthening exercises where I can reach that next level of strength and be a little bit stronger than I was last year, and be able to work on different things that my body is going to be able to handle, right? So some people don't actually know that there's certain exercises that you shouldn't be doing when your abdominal muscles are widened, because it just widens it even more. And I really wanted to be mindful about that as I was healing through postpartum. Postpartum is forever, by the way. Postpartum is forever. I don't care what anybody says. I'm not arguing. It's forever. Your body changes so much after you give birth, and it's never going to go back to the same, nor do I want it to be, because you're a different person. So you can't really expect the same body from a different person, from a different human being, someone who has birthed a different human being. At least for me, that's my own perspective. There's of course some things that are going to be the same, but for the most part, it's totally different. These childbearing hips, they just different. And it shows. You feel it, especially now. Like I feel like I'm sitting in it. Postpartum, the first year, I felt it because everything's so juicy. Everything is like so ripe, so raw, right? You're breastfeeding, your milk, you're lactating. Everything is just busty and just widened and open. And 7 years in, for me right now, it feels like it's the same again. Like in the middle, it kind of feels like your body's it felt like my body was trying to figure things out. It was up, it was down, it was, should I hold on to this weight? Should I let it go? And especially after I stopped breastfeeding, and now it feels like it's back to that busty, just like voluptuous, just plumpy. And I love it. I love it. I love it so much. And I want to learn how to handle this new body of mine. So we also talked about bladder control and bladder etiquette and eliminating our bowels etiquette, like just things that we should be practicing at home, sharpen, and to make sure that you're being able to maximize the use of these things. So bladder wise, which is something that we practice as mom, let's go to the bathroom before we leave so that we don't need to go to the bathroom while we're on the road, which is so important. Is who wants to be in the middle of traffic and then your little one needs to go to the bathroom? Well, my pelvic floor therapist and I talked about how important it is to make sure we're thinking about how often we're reminding our kids to go to the bathroom and remembering the patterns and what they're actually putting into their body, which I know it feels like another task, but when you practice it and just embed it into your day-to-day and just remind yourself, it just becomes a part of your programming. So making sure that we're not excessively urinating, so maybe like every 2 to 3 hours of going to the bathroom, every 2 to 3 hours, and then throughout the daytime, that's probably like that's probably like 4 to 6 times a day, right? Our bowels is a completely different story. Going with the urge to go to the bathroom, because it's a different sphincter. So being able to listen to your body when it's ready to eliminate, and going with the urge, letting it go, so that way it eliminates things like constipation. But also remembering to elevate your legs when you are going to the bathroom and removing your bowels. That's a big one. We are not designed for the toilets that our world has designed for us. I don't know why they thought that it was a great idea, but toilets that are lower to the ground, actually kids toilets, right, is the best, because it's more of like a squatty. If you do research and just type in like squatting, the history of squatting, even in birth, when you squat, you're going with your body, you're not going against anything, you're actually aligning your spine and your rectum so that it can be able to eliminate bowels properly when your knees are closer to your chest and you're bending down like that. Versus if you're just like sitting straight up, knees down, legs down, and just kind of hanging. Your body is not aligned and open. Certain ways that your poop looks will indicate how you're properly digesting your food, how you're intaking your food. It's such a science, and I am learning much more as I continue to dive in and really just hone in on certain practices and just expand my knowledge. And it's been really helpful for myself and for my family and for my overall health and well-being, and for my family's overall health and well-being. So those are a few things that we've been talking about so far, is your bladder elimination and your bowel movements, making sure your body is in proper alignment to eliminate bowels, and also making sure that you're not going to the bathroom every 10 to like 15 minutes, more so every like 2 to 3 hours, and being mindful of your liquid intake and the last time that you've used the bathroom, so that you're not just letting yourself go and get into the habit of releasing your bladder every time you get the urge, and trying to strengthen and hold a little bit without hurting yourself. Be mindful of those things. And also, when you are doing physical activities, to ensure that you are engaging your core and focusing on your breathing, right? Focusing on your breathing, engaging your core properly when you're working out, and actually doing workouts that are not going against gravity, but going with gravity. So like laying on your back, more slower, intact exercises, and things like toe taps, but on your back, toe taps, but engaging your core and really rewiring your breathing, right? Learning how to exhale and hold in that core, and to be able to do those movements that you're doing with your exhale. So it's really good stuff. It's deep healing, and so far I've really been enjoying it. It's really just been adding on to what I have already been doing at home with yoga and just like body care, intuitive body movement on a daily I aim for. But sometimes that daily turns into once a week. But this year especially, it has circled back to my daily movement, really moving my body. So I'm gonna try to take you guys along with me just a little bit. I try not to record too much as I'm in there, so that I can really be focused on my session, because you guys know how I do. I take you guys along with me, give you bits and pieces, but not to the point where I'm like, I feel like I need y'all to be with me, even though I like rocking with y'all, and I know you like rocking with me. But realistically, at least the way that we flow over here on Umi BTV, is we do bits and pieces without pulling ourselves drastically out of being present and distorting our present moment and giving away too much of the present and taking it away from our family and ourselves. So that's my update with pelvic floor therapy. I believe this is session number 4, if I'm not mistaken. And I have, I think, like 4 more sessions to go. I think I might share this with you guys for 4 sessions in and then share the next 4 sessions afterwards, because 4 feels like we're in the middle of the care that I've been seeking. So yeah. Yes, everything's the same. Thank you so much.
This one has a code too.
Oh, it does?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a wrap. I'm gonna go get some food. Usually they have the fire lit in here, but it's not. Y'all wanna know something that I'm really grateful for today? I'm really grateful for places that open up really early, like at the ass crack of dawn. This place opened at 7. Mine wasn't until 7:50, but I got there at 7. I was in the parking lot at like 7-Eleven, especially because of traffic and, you know, also because trying to show out and just be punctual and practice showing up on time, right? And having time to decompress and prepare yourself before you go into a place. I was able to get in early. She called me at like 7:40 and my appointment wasn't until, I think it was 8 o'clock actually, 7:55. One of the two, but I got in early and it's 8:20 and I'm already out of my appointment and seen. Like, I love getting out early and being able to get back home early and just do all the errands before the baby even wakes up. He's still asleep right now. I bet when I go back home, he's gonna be knocked out. So I'm just grabbing us some breakfast because when I get home, I'm gonna just jump in with Plain and we have a few home things to do.